Hello, my name is Marcia Johnson. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Together with my grandnieces and nephew, Allie, Ashley, and Ryan, we are Marcia's Crafts. Today we'll be making this Tranquil Tulip card. The stamp sets you will need are 2 hostess sets, Tranquil Tulips, and background bits. Hostess sets are available if you host a party or if you order $150 worth of product, then you are your own host. Okay, for cardstock, we will need Pear Pizzazz, 1 piece 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, 1 piece 3 1/8 by 4 1/8, a piece of sweet sugar plum, 2 1/4 by 5, some very vanilla, 1 at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, 1 at 4 by 5 1/4, and 1 piece at 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, turned to measure 3 by 4. If you don't want to bother with the tearing, just cut it at 3 by 4 and an envelope. For embellishments, you'll need some stick-on pearls and about 8 inches of 1/4 inch or so Pear Pizzazz ribbon. If you don't have Pear Pizzazz ribbon, you can make your own by taking your stamp pad just putting it on your block, spritzing a little water, not too much, mix it, and just paint your ribbon. Whoops, a little more water. There you go. As you can see, pretty close to Pear Pizzazz there. And it's an expensive way to have a lot of colors of ribbon. The stamp pads you will need today are Pear Pizzazz, Fresh Fig, Sahara Sand, and Sweet Sugar Plum. You will also need scissors, bone folder, dimensionals, some Scotch tape, a sponge or a dauber, and probably an aqua painter. I'll show you why in just a second. Okay, let's get started. First thing we're going to do is tear our small piece of very vanilla paper, and we're going to tear it to a size that fits on this mat. The easiest way to do that is, sorry about this glare, the sun's coming in kind of funny today, but we'll live with it. You just paint a line along the edge, sort of where you want to tear. That's Romeo. Romeo! Enough! Sometimes he behaves. Okay, let's try this. Tear it toward you. Okay, let's see how that looks. Okay, I've got a little bit of green pretty much all the way around, and that's what I'm going for. So I think I'll just take maybe a little bit off this corner up here, and I'll be happy with that. Okay, I have already distress the edges of these pieces of paper just to save time, but we will ink them now with Sahara sand. Using a sponge. I didn't ink or distress my Pear Pizzazz piece. You could if you wanted to, but I kind of just like it plain. Now we're going to stamp our backgrounds on the smallest of your Very Vanilla pieces and the largest of the Very Vanilla pieces. Still using Sahara sand. I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper, my Stampin' Pierce mat. Got another piece of paper back here to stamp off on so I don't make a big mess. Okay. First we're going to use this little squarish stamp that looks kind of like a sponge or something from the Background Bits stamp set. We're going to ink it up, stamp it off, and then stamp. Do that all over this card. Next, we're going to take the script stamp from the Background Bits, and we're going to ink that up and just put a few impressions on our background here. Also stamping off. Okay, that's good. Next, we're going to take our small piece of Very Vanilla, and we're going to do the same thing with the script stamp, except all over this piece. So just all over from bottom to top. Stamping off. Okay, that should do it for Background Bits and for the Sahara sand, at least for a while. Next, we're going to take our old olive ink. I'm not old olive, I'm sorry, Pear Pizzazz ink. And we're going to take the stamp from a Tranquil Tulips that has 3 stems. So I'm going to ink that up. And we're going to stamp it right about there. Then we're going to take the single stem from the same stamp set. This piece is for the inside of our card. I'm going to ink up the stem and just right about there. And actually, I just remembered that I wanted to use Sahara sand for a little bit more. I'm going to take that last stamp we used from the Background Bits, and I want to ink it up in Sahara sand, stamp it off, and stamp it here in the inside of the card. And then do the same thing. I'll move it a little bit to the left and do it again. I think I want a little bit more. we go. And same thing on the envelope. I want okay. Now we're done with the background bits, and for the time being, our Sahara sand ink. Okay, let's bring our old olive back and let's finish up stamping the stem on our envelope. Did I say old olive again? I mean pear pizzazz. Okay, now we're going to do our leaves. This is the one that has the little bend at the top. We'll be putting that on the left-hand side. And we'll do the same thing for the inside of our card. And for the front of our card. Next, we'll do the other leaf, which is a little bit straighter at the top. We'll put it on the right-hand side. Do the inside. And do our envelope. There we go. All right, that should do it for our pear pizzazz. Next, we're going to do our tulips. The tulips are a two-step process. I prefer to do the more detailed and smaller image first. Ink it up with sweet sugar plum, and then try to get really close to that stem. Now this image looks like it didn't stamp properly, but it did. It's a watercolor look and it turns out really nice. Let's do the inside. And the front will have two of the smaller flowers. And then we'll do the larger image. And you just put it right over the top. And actually at first sometimes it looks a little rough, but it smooths out and it's very pretty. The inside of our card. And our envelope. Okay, and we'll bring this back and do the larger tulip. Now we'll put in the stamens and we will be finished with the stamping. For that we will use fresh fig. And I like to put these kind of right at the top of the forward petal, the forward middle petal. There we go. That completes our stamping. I am going to bring the Sahara sand back for just a moment because I kind of want to rough up our image on our envelope and on the inside of our card just a little bit. Just take some ink and smear it down on a paper and then kind of just muddy up the card a little bit. I like it. You can do the same thing a little bit on the front too. Just ages it a bit. Okay, we're finished with our inks. And it's time to assemble. I prefer to use liquid glue because it holds very well, gives you a little wiggle room, and it holds up in the mail better than pretty much anything else. So first thing, we'll put the inside of our card in here. It'll be this. So it gives you time to move it around a little bit till you're happy and then press it down. Okay, for the front, first we'll put on this background piece. Just make sure you have a little bit of green showing all the way around this. Now we'll attach our ribbon. I have a separate scissors for ribbon. Paper dulls your scissors, so it's a good idea to keep a separate scissors just for ribbon, and I just tie a ribbon around it so I know which one it is. I'll use some Scotch tape to attach this. I think I want it to go about there. Okay, pull it straight across and attach it on the other side. That looks good. And then we're going to put this on the front of our card with dimensionals. For something this size, I'd probably use 5. There he goes again. The neighbor's dogs are out. Okay, I'm back. Now it's time to put this ribbon on the front. Sorry about the neighbor's dogs. There's nothing I can do about them. Okay, just tie a knot and then with your scissors, just trim at an angle. I'll The last thing we're going to do is add some pearls. Okay, and we're done. A fairly quick and easy card. I hope you like it. If you do, please give us a thumbs up, and it'd be nice if you could subscribe to our channel. If you would like to purchase any of the supplies needed to make these cards, you can find them at marciascrafts.stampinup.net. Have a great day. Thanks and bye. See you next time.